So, welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I am Morrow, your storyteller for today, and with me I have some more RPG horror stories. Next couple of videos, I'm going to be working on crazy, insane homebrew videos, so look forward to that. But for now, let's go ahead and dive into some more RPG horror story cringe. I don't know if I like saying the word cringe. I mean, it's a disaster, but it's cringe at the same time. Whatever. Let's get to it. I had to fudge a roll at Pathfinder Society. I'm using a throwaway as I just need to get this off my chest. I've been involved with my local chapter of Pathfinder Society for a few months now, and a few days ago I GM'd an event for the first time. There were 4 PCs, ranging from level 3 to 5, but the only one of note of this story is the fighter. The fighter went into this talking about how overpowered fighters are in 2nd edition, and proceeds to prove it by 1 or 2 shotting almost every enemy he went up against for most of the encounters. It got to the point that when I was setting up the last encounter, I was internally hoping for at least an even fight. 4 hours later, and all but 1 PC, not the fighter, was down, and there were still 2 monsters left. He was already engaged with one of them, but when the other one's turn came up, I did the only thing that made sense without metagaming hard and moved him to attack. First attack hit and dropped PC to half health. Then I rolled my second attack. Natural 20. I didn't even wait. I just snatched the die up and said I missed. No one called me on it. Cue a chain of potions and healing spells, and the party was back up and killed the last 2. The fighter got last hit. Module over. Everyone had nothing but nice things to say about my GMing, which, yeah, we did have some great RP during the sessions, and the puzzle section went smoothly. But in the back of my head, I still feel bad. I'm pretty sure I broke some organized play rule by fudging, but I just wanted folks to have fun and didn't want anyone to lose a character they must have spent months on just because I made an offhand wish on a monkey's paw. Sorry, I gave the wrong impression when I posted. I meant that all but 1 person was down when I chose to fudge my roll. That PC was going next, so he was able to bring the healer back up on his turn and so on. I think he did great, personally. I think it's completely fine. Rather, it was very nice of you to do that. Especially with 1 player down and stuff, you know, it would suck if that natural 20 just completely downed him and then everybody just basically would have lost. Oh, that would have been so rough. I don't know if I'm gonna get flack for this, but I will say that fudging dice as a DM is fine sometimes. Because at moments, you just need to fudge dice to get something rolling, get something going. At times, I have my players roll me a blind perception roll just because I want them to notice something or because I want them to see something, and I don't want them to know exactly what they got. Even if they got a low roll, I still want them to still progress forward or something cool to happen for players' enjoyment, because at the end of the day, for me as a DM, I care about my players' enjoyment over what some numbers say. Moving on to the next story. Players ignore consent and cause me to spiral. Sup team, sup. So I had this in back pocket from about 3 years ago and finally have time to unpack. I was DMing for an online game of Rime of Frostmaiden 5e and started out strong. We had 5 players that worked pretty hard on building unique characters. We had a lot of fun surviving the cold, fighting yetis, encountering frost giants, and RVI to race the white dragon. I butchered that so badly, I am so sorry. It was a lighthearted game with darker elements. There was a subplot involving an NPC dying of a slot curse, and an elder brain I added for more content. We were about level 3 though when the first inkling of communication breaking down occurred. We just prevented a wizard from summoning a beastly monster with stone giant runes after sacrificing souls for years to stop the rime, the unending storm. It's a plot point in the module. He wanted to use the beast's power to suppress Auril, the goddess responsible for it. The party stopped the wizard, but in a celebratory process, 2 more players plotted out an SA encounter after a few drinks. What do they mean by, wait, how do you plot an S on each other? On somebody else? What? First off, no, I want and will not have ERP in my regular table, especially non-consenting. Second, they planned out a gratuitous scene with steamy encounters to roleplay a drunken SA sex over our Discord call. Wow. Wait, like 1 player is saying the other? Is that the kink? What? What the hell? I shut it down and talked with players because we signed a consent form at the beginning of the adventure to prevent this stuff. After litigation, we continued. Helped Verbeeg with his relationship issues, adopted an NPC that was Dead Wizard's simulacrum, and killed a red yeti, ending about level 8 at this point. I was enjoying my games, and while they did have some more in-game relationships, we didn't have any planned assaults on the docket per our discussion. Yeah, imagine having to plan out assaults like that. That's weird. What the hell? Until a player decided to sleep with the simulacrum and emotionally disabuse it on the notion of meaningful love as a character building moment. Essentially, the player used him, the simulacrum, as a sock and refused to acknowledge the simulacrum's feelings. Not to mention they laid that turd on my chest mid-game because I gave control of the simulacrum to one of the players who was using him as a sidekick character when it happened. What the hell is wrong with you players? Like, I feel like it's just like the two that wanted to get involved, right? I feel like it's those two specifically. Knowing how they planned out or try to plot out, I think you'd probably want to give them less freedom to do that. I mean, that's some red flags immediately. So we retconned that and took away the simulacrum to avoid any more of this. However, it got worse, as one of the NPCs we encountered in the new city was from the starting town and had been sent to the city to start training to become a knight. The group's bard had convinced him he could be a hero, so the two catch up, working on an epic poem together for a few 10 days. The plot shifts to a political subterfuge. Aurel is collecting the beasts of the land to stage an assault on a major city. Some of the town speakers, especially mayors, are working with Zentarum crime family. One of the players is enlisted to help an old family member with play, another trains in smithing, offers medical services, and one starts to take up gambling habit. Essentially, we need to convince the speaker to lend us military aid to help with Aurel, and a subplot involving Durgar. Interim that take up odd jobs and we enjoy a plateau. Stuff's going awesome at the table until the bard invites the knight trainee to his play. Afterwards, they start working on a story of their own, which results in the player kissing the knight. Problem being that NPC viewed the bard more as a father figure than a love interest. The bard is rejected and they retaliate with murdering the knight trainee. Over a kiss? DM, I am sorry, this is a nightmare. I hope you do something with these players because... What? This is insanity. This is actual insanity. I have like emotions that I can use on my character, right? But I don't have the emotion to express this insanity. Maybe mad. I'm mad. This is insane. To explain what happened next was the party with my expressed discontent with the situation dismembered this beloved NPC and hid his body parts throughout the city to stoke tensions to aid in the negotiations as a speaker council. I was turned off from the game almost entirely. I had a serious chat about what has happened and my players thought I was overreacting to the weird as hell heel turn. You don't have to DM a game where players are allowed to do SA. You don't have to DM a game where if you're uncomfortable with dismemberment, I mean, yeah, just let the players know that you're not cool with that. What is up with these players? What is going on here? What is actually happening? What is going on? I feel like we're missing context. I feel like suddenly there's just a shift from like regular game to just this drastic thing, and we're missing a lot of context in between. That's what I feel right now. I played for another session before I lost all interest in DMing the game. Generally, when a game makes you annoyed or feeling sick to prepare or run, you should do the adult thing and just end it. Especially considering after some very intense discussion, the problem players continue to be problems. Playing D&D is not worth your mental health. One thing you probably should have done maybe is single out the players that are problem players and kick them out. What are they going to do? Are they going to bring in anything? If you ask them, hey, don't do the SA, and they still do SA. If you ask them, hey, don't just randomly start dismembering people out of nowhere for no reason since we never agreed on that sort of thing or never, that's not my comfortable zone, and they continue to do that or continue to do other uncomfortable things that just generally make you feel revolted and you just feel uncomfortable DMing that stuff. If they're still not willing to listen to you, then clearly they're the problem. Remove the problem, put the campaign on hold, everybody else can wait, you'll find other players to replace it, or hey, you could start a brand new thing or something, or if you have enough players, you could just continue with those players that feel like still playing. I don't know. There were an online group of strangers. We did have hours of conversation after each issue on finer points. We had a session 0, agreed on a consent form, discussed the ethics of those violations. The players voted against kicking them in the end, so it was really a matter of how long before I lost interest in playing. What caused me so much psychic damage was the constant attempt to justify the actions and pretend I didn't have any valid issues with it. Ah, okay, I see. Well, if the other players are fine with problem players being there, then I'm glad you left. Your feelings are valid, and if you don't want to have, God forbid you don't want to have assault of sexual variety in your games, God forbid. How dare you, DM? How dare you not encourage my power fantasy or some other fetish things? I swear, seriously, what's going on with some players? Some players are just sick. It just, ugh. If you agree on session 0 to not do A, B, C, and D, you probably should continue not doing that A, B, C, and D, such as SA or other things the DM is just simply not comfortable with, because guess what? The DM does not always have to be comfortable with what kind of weird things that you're into. Keep your own fetishes to your own sex dungeon and don't lay it up on the DM or anybody else that is unwarranted from that. If they don't want to be encouraged by that or they don't want to involve themselves in that, they don't have to. But it's weird that some players think that like, it's okay for me. Why are you reacting, DM? Come on, DM. All I want to do is just SA another player. Everybody has limits out there. And I mean, you're spending your free time to play a TTRPG, something you want to have a little bit of fun with. If you don't want to have a game be involved with SA or anything else that you just simply uncomfortable with, you don't have to. At the end of the day, DM, you got yourself out of the situation, and now you can just take a little break. Maybe be a player for a little bit. Maybe don't play D&D for a little bit. I mean, after all, no D&D is indeed better than bad D&D, and dealing with players that just want to plot out SA. That is such a weird thing. Plotting out on planning SA? What? That's the first one for today. That's the first one for Tales Tomorrow. And with that, that's going to be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales Tomorrow. Bye-bye.